I started in real estate as an agent and I found a lot of financial success, but I quickly realized that being an agent and building wealth were two totally different things. So let's talk about it. I'm going to spare you today about how I saw struggle growing up. I decided I never wanted to live like that, and how all of my life decisions thereafter were about how to make myself into someone who creates income and has wealth and never has to worry about money, and how I skipped college and went straight to the real estate license because I wanted freedom and not a job. And we're going to talk about how I went from agent to wholesaler to business owner and investor. So here's the deal, straight up. Being a real estate agent is a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of man hours, and it's a lot of paperwork. It's also a lot of babysitting. It's a lot of rules, and it's a lot of commission splitting. I don't regret any of it because I learned so many fundamentals by being an agent. I learned sales, how to talk to people. I learned about the markets. I learned about all of the neighborhoods within a 50-mile radius of me, being a buyer's agent and driving buyers around all day, every day. I learned how transactions worked. I learned how to put out fires. I really built the muscle of working hard and doing whatever it takes to get those deals done. I would not trade that experience for anything. That gave me this foundation to take into wholesaling, which is very similar because you're still selling houses. The biggest question I hear all the time from agents is, how do you transition from agent to wholesaler? I did not transition from agent to wholesaler. I added wholesaling to my business. That's the key. And as far as building wealth goes, the truth is that being a wholesaler is as much of a rat race as being an agent. It's just a lot less work for a lot more money. We'll get into that in a little bit. But it's the same thing, still making money and not investing into any assets that can actually pay you or serve you in the future. So I like wholesaling because we're targeting those older properties that could be BRRRR investments where we flip it and keep it for ourselves. But I say all this to share that while I was an agent, I was building my plan to invest. And so when I came across wholesaling, it was a more direct avenue to the long-term goal of building my investment portfolio. So how I got into wholesaling, I had been an agent for about 2.5 years. I was doing the buyer's agent thing. I was doing some of the listing agent thing. All of my listings were coming from cold calls, and all of my buyers were coming from a hedge fund that I was working with. I was literally driving around like 80 hours a week, which there isn't much else to do in your 20s, but I'm a little lazy. So when I met this investor who was doing wholesale deals, and he was telling me how he was ripping 50, 60, 70K on $400,000 houses, I was like, okay, well, I need to see about this. And he was like, yeah, I see that you're cold calling, so if you ever have anything, just let me know and maybe I'll buy it or we can wholesale it together. So lo and behold, I'm just doing my calls and I get this lady and she just wants an offer. When I would call as a real estate agent and do my spiel, that was an objection that we get all the time, is just make me an offer. And so this lady was like, well, make me an offer. And I was like, okay, well, hey, I actually have an investor. Could we come by and make you an offer? So she had us over, we came by, we made her an offer. We offered, I believe it was $400,000. This investor guy who became my wholesale mentor, he didn't want to buy it. So I put it on a Facebook group for $460,000, I think, maybe $450,000. This house was in a good area and our numbers were really good. This house was going to be worth like $650,000, $700,000 when it was finished. So there was a lot of spread there. I got 50 comments on my Facebook post. We showed like 5 or 6 people the house. We got 3 offers on this wholesale deal. We got 2 at our asking price, $460,000, and then we got one for $480,000. So of course we took the $480,000, split 50-50. We made an $80,000 wholesale check, and it was less than 30 days. It came from one phone call. There were no listings, inspections, or appraisal, and I made $40,000 on a $400K house. So I was like, okay, this is great. That's enough of being an agent for me. No, just kidding. I still ran my agent business, of course. You should never stop doing what works. Like, if it works for you, keep doing it. And thank God I did milk that hedge fund because they eventually went out of business. But what happened after that first deal is I reinvested into some mail. I started sending 10,000 ROS postcards per month, and we got 2 more deals in a 90-day period. I netted $100K. He netted $100K. He shared his contracts with me. His escrow connect, who does wholesale deals, he gave me valuable insight and advice within the deals themselves about how to run the transaction, the do's and don'ts, everything specific to our Washington market. So everybody won, including the sellers, because this is where people start asking, what is in it for the sellers with this cash offer? Oh my gosh. I throw virtual and in-person events on wholesaling, both for realtors and for anybody and everybody. And a question that always gets asked is, why do the sellers do this? This channel is all about wholesaling and how we do it, but in short, sellers want convenience. It's valuable. It's of service. I walk into wholesale appointments. I have to disclose that I'm an agent, both in person and within the contract, but I don't do it because I have to. I pose it as an extra service. Like when we're cold calling, it's usually as an investor first. Sometimes we'll do the agent representing investors. Sometimes we're just calling on behalf of investors. And the talk track is always something like, yeah, we're happy to come over and just let you know how much we'd offer as investors. And I'm also a real estate agent. So if you wanted to put it on the market, we can look at that too. And believe it or not, you guys, you already know if you're someone who makes cold calls, people fucking hate agents. Okay. They will tell us, no, I don't want to list it. Just make me an offer. No, I don't want to deal with all that. I don't want to pay commissions. I don't want to put it on the market. I don't want to clean it up. Just take it. It's an as-is sale. I'm not going to do any repairs on this. I'm not going to blah, 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 blah. It's primarily the convenience of the fact that they don't have to get the house ready to list. They don't have to clean it out. They don't have to make repairs. They don't have to fix up the kitchen or the floors or the windows. They don't have to pay agent fees. They don't have to pay closing costs. They don't have to deal with showings and open houses and inspectors and appraisers and offers and buyers and blah, blah, blah. Okay. As an agent still holding my license, I wholeheartedly believe that while most people should list their house, some people don't want to list their house with an agent. What's so hard to believe about that? They know that they can get more on market, but they want an easy sale. So what is wholesaling anyway? If you're watching this, you probably have a general idea, but wholesaling is a process of putting a property under contract. It's an assignable purchase and sale agreement. We mostly use MLS forms. Sometimes we use a generic lawyer written contract, but you put the property under contract and then you sell the right to purchase that property to someone else. That's what a wholesale deal is. You are assigning that purchase and sale through an assignment agreement for a wholesale fee. And that's it. We don't put earnest money down. We write in the contract that it will come once our inspection is complete and the contract is placed with the buyer. They put in earnest money for the full transaction. We're not closing on the property. We're the middleman. Buyer puts the money in, the seller gets their money. We make the difference. So like on my first deal I did, seller got $400,000, buyer paid $480,000. We made $80,000. We made the in-between for delivering a convenient sale and getting the buyer a good deal. If you're an agent, you have to be at a brokerage that is okay with you doing this. Maybe they charge you extra, maybe they don't care. I'm at EXP, they don't care. So after those first few wholesale deals, and like I said, I was still doing my agent thing. I was just doing both, I had the time all day. Right around that time is also when I joined Springboard to Wealth, which is Thatch's group, and I learned how investors think. That was very, very crucial to learning how to comp these deals to make sure that they work for investors before signing with the sellers. I was networking with investors and building my buyer list. And I also started building my local team of cold callers who were coming with me on the journey to cold call themselves and find themselves deals that I would help them work. So with all that just churning, we were doing more wholesale deals. Hedge fund went out of business. So that part of my business just kind of dropped off. I was fully focused on wholesaling and it was feeding myself and the team. So in my first year of wholesaling, when I was pretty much 50-50 agent and wholesaler, I made total like $350K. So 175 wholesaling, 175 agent. Next year I made about $400K and that was about 80% wholesale and 20% agent business. And then by the year after that, I was pretty much 100% wholesale. And I still do like 1 or 2 retail deals a year, maybe. The other beautiful thing about wholesaling is that, especially if you're a new agent, like the advice is to just be a wholesaler. And then any instance where the seller wants more than what an investor would pay, which is very often, you can offer to list it for them to get top dollar on the market. Win, win, win. You are the real estate advisor. You lay options on the table and you let them choose. So today I have a team of over 30 callers who are getting into the wholesaling. My team is still all local with a couple administrative VAs. The way my local team works is modeled after how I worked with my mentor when I started. I help them do a couple deals. At that point, they learn how to do it and they either stick with me because I have the systems to get deals, or they go off and do their own thing. And that's totally fine. We all stay friends. I don't kill relationships. We all stick together because we can grow faster together. If they want to, that's fine. I like to be friends with people. So here's how to get into wholesaling if you're an agent. Number 1, pick your market. I would just stay in the same market. Most online wholesaling content covers wholesaling nationally. I don't do that. I wholesale in my market. People ask me all the time if I'm going to branch out, blah, blah, blah. No, I love my market. I have the market knowledge right here in Washington. This is where I'm staying. Maybe I'll do California or Oregon because it's similar, but West Coast, best coast. That's all. So pick your market. If you're in a couple markets, maybe you do a couple markets. That's fine. Number 2, pick your marketing channel. I want you to just start finding deals. I don't want you to worry about contracts. I don't want you to worry about escrow companies. I don't want you to worry about how to comp. Honestly, just start finding the deals, because if you get caught up with trying to figure everything out first, you're not going to get any deals. I'm sorry. Like maybe you are someone who's proactive, but for most people, that's what I see. Learn how to comp and analyze deals. Here's the basic math, my friends, and I don't want to hear it. This is it, okay? 80% of ARV. So ARV is after repair value. Look at comparable sales based on square footage. If it's a 1,000 square foot house, I look at 500 to 1,500 square feet. Maybe I'll factor in bedroom count. I'll factor in lot size if it's necessary, but I really just try to focus on single family and small multifamily. I'm very much a stay in your lane and tunnel vision person. Like the one thing, like the book, I want to just stay in my wheelhouse. So I look at comps, I figure out what this thing will be worth after it's flipped. I take 80% of that. So if it's $1 million, I take $800K, and then I subtract my estimated rehab costs. Estimated rehab costs, you guys. All of my buyers that I sell my deals to have different rehab costs. So my job is to just get close. I have a little chart inside my wholesale e-guide. If you're starting in real estate, that e-guide is gonna be very helpful for you. It actually has all of this step by step. Take off the estimated rehab cost, and that is about what an investor would pay, give or take 5%. So if it's 200K rehab costs, subtract that from the 800, an investor would pay 600 for this property with a 200K rehab and a 1 million ARV. So if an investor would pay 600, then I'm probably gonna wanna start my offer at 550. If the seller wants 600, then I might go for the 600, kind of depending on how good the area is and how many investors I have in the area. If I have a seller willing to sign, I don't wanna not try to sell it, as long as there's a clear expectation that it needs to pass our inspection. So I'd sign for the 600 and then I'd try to sell it for 620, see if I can sell it. If I can sell it, great, sign the assignment contract, close. If I can't sell it, then I'll go and get the highest offer from a buyer. And if the highest offer is like 580, then I have to go back to the seller and be like, hey, I can only do this for 560. You know, I had originally offered 550. So, you know, still kind of up from my original offer, but I can do a 560. Would that ever work for you? If they say yes, great, we close. If they say no, maybe they counter. And then maybe we go back and forth to the buyer and then to the seller and blah, 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 and play the game. But ultimately, if we can't come to a deal, then we just cancel the contract because we keep ourselves protected in the contract. It's the number one rule of wholesaling. If you're going to transact real property that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, you have to make sure you're protected. So pick your marketing channel. We do cold calls, we do mail, we do door knocking, we do networking with other agents. Keep it simple. Number 3, start building your buyer list. I've mentioned buyers quite a few times throughout this video. How do I find them? I go to local real estate investor meetups. I go meet them organically. I find them on local investor Facebook groups. That's also usually where those meetups are announced / promoted. I pull cash buyer lists on Property Radar, and I also pay for Investor Lift. I've got about 3,000 buyers in Washington, and this is my edge as a wholesaler because I have a ton of buyers. Not only do I have a higher chance of selling deals than other wholesalers, I also have a higher chance of making the most because we all know that the more buyers there are for a deal, the more likely it is that you get more money. So that's number 3. Number 4, be consistent. If you're part of any sort of agent coaching, whether at your brokerage or you pay for coaching, whatever it is, you already know that the top advice is to be consistent and just do the work, okay? Period. And lastly, my advice is give this 90 days. This can also apply to your real estate business. Work in 90-day cycles. Commit to making 50 contacts a day for 90 days. That's what we do. We pull our list from Property Radar, we use Zenzo Dialer, and we knock out 50 contacts a day. Only takes a couple hours. You want to be going on at least 2 appointments a week, and you want to be making 2 offers a week. Every appointment you go on, you make an offer no matter what. Even if the seller wants 900, you can pay 700, you make the offer because you never know what's actually going through their head, and you want them to have that information in case anything changes. Most sellers are liars. Let's just leave it at that. Keep it simple, keep it doable. If you like driving for dollars, go drive for dollars. If you like talking to people on the phone, talk to people on the phone. If you like going to parties and meeting people, go to parties and meet people. But just be consistent for 90 days. I've got 3 things. Wholesale e-guide is below. I coach live weekly in my community so you can bring your live scenarios for us to talk about. And my partners and I at EXP have wholesale resources and coaching available. All the links below. See you in the next one.